So in my Thanksgiving video, I promised that I'd let you know about a gift that you can give yourself for Christmas that will actually help you clear and control your clutter next year. It's a new clutter clearing program that I'm launching called the 7-Step Journey. Now in the next video, I will tell you more details about the 7-Step Journey. But in the meantime, you may be wondering, why are you launching another program, Claire? Given that you've had other programs and there's been a high success rate, surely if the programs before have been any good, then you don't need to develop another one. Well, that's true. But like perhaps yourself, a clutterholic, I am a perfectionist, so I'm always looking at ways to improve the programs, improve and increase the success rate, and make it easier for people to start their clutter clearing journey. But also an awful lot has changed since I launched clutter clearing. January will actually be the 19th year of clutter clearing. I started clutter clearing back in 2001 after spending a year working out how to clear my own clutter and actually doing that and becoming clutter free. And touch wood, I've been clutter free ever since. The process hasn't changed. If you have seen the programs that I've run before, the process is exactly the same. 7 choices, 7 actions of what to do with your clutter. We don't do keep, chuck, charity. We have 7 choices, one of which is not sure. We don't have blitzes. We give ourselves time. We do a little and often. We break old habits, we make new habits. That principle has not changed in the 19 years that I've been doing clutter clearing. But the world has changed. It's changed a huge amount since 2001 when I started. When I started, there was no Skype, Facebook, Twitter. None of that existed, the social media world that we live in now, which personally I find really confusing. And because of that, because there wasn't that international ability, I could only help people locally. And I only helped them with home visits and follow-up calls for 6 weeks. So again, the way that I deliver the help and advice has changed massively since then. Back in 2001 when I started, hoarding wasn't even recognised as a disorder. It was only later on that I discovered that I was actually borderline hoarder. In fact, if I had gone along to a doctor or a therapist, it may well have been that because of the way that I thought about my possessions and because of the amount of clutter that I had, I would probably have been classified as a hoarder. So again, a huge amount has changed since 2001 when I started. Clutter clearing has changed over the years. 2001 to 2010, so for 9 years when I started, I only did home visits and 6 weeks of accountability calls afterwards to help people to continue what we had started in the home visits. Because again, clutter clearing is not a blitz. A blitz won't work. In 2010, I introduced the 12-week programs. I did support that with home visits as well, but I was also able to introduce doing that virtually by telephone or Skype with accountability calls, so I didn't necessarily have to do a home visit. Particularly useful given that a large number of my clients have been and continue to be from America and Canada. And I was also posting and mailing information sheets and reference things and exercises for people to complete. 2013 is when I stopped doing home visits. Too many people, despite me telling them that a home visit was not going to solve the problem on the day or even a couple of days, the message wasn't getting through that this is a journey, not a one-off event. Also in 2013, having stopped the home visits, I introduced the 12-week program where I was able to help people by live video link around the world. It was fantastic. We had people joining from San Francisco, Japan, Sydney, Australia, and we had the infamous Kitty in San Francisco who would join at silly o'clock in the morning their time, and Kitty liked to sit in the not sure category container of its owner as its owner was doing her clutter clearing session. Gosh, Kitty will be quite mature now, not such a kitten anymore. 2014, I realised that people were succeeding on the 12-week programmes, but they had to very much be in the right mindset, ready for a full-time, quite intensive course. And they needed a break, because quite often life would get in the way. Whether it was somebody that they cared for being sick, whether it was them being sick themselves, whether it was them having booked a holiday before they started the programme. So I introduced the academic term. So 5 weeks on, 2 weeks off, 5 weeks on for the programmes. 2016. I introduced the online DIY video course so that people could do it in their own time, that we didn't need the live sessions. Ironically, that was a development that came because I lost my father-in-law at the end of 2015. And I was very much involved with dealing with his estate. So that took a lot of my time, and I had to think, how am I going to be able to still help people without them having to be dependent on me in real time? So ironically, my father-in-law enabled me to develop the programme further. So like I say, the process has remained unchanged. The success rate has stayed high, but I'm a perfectionist. I want more and more people to be able to succeed with their clutter clearing journey. So the new 7-step journey that's coming in January is going to have a few important tweaks and features that I'll be able to tell you about in the next video. But what you need to know now is that it's designed for a certain type of person. So this is who it's designed for. It's designed for anyone who's had their clutter challenge for at least 5 years. It's designed for anybody who genuinely wants to clear their clutter and is willing to learn how to stay clutter-free, i.e. break bad habits, create new. And I know how tough that is. Been there back in 2000 when I was dealing with my own clutter. It's for anyone who wants to start their clutter clearing journey slowly. That's the big shift with this program. We start gently and slowly, and we build. We start in 1st gear and we build our way up to 5th gear. It's for anyone who can commit 4 hours a week to their clutter clearing each and every week. It's for anybody who needs flexibility around when they do their clutter clearing sessions from week to week. Maybe you work a shift pattern, so you're not always available on the same day at the same time every week. Maybe your life is just such that you need flexibility. As long as you can allocate 4 hours a week to doing your clutter clearing, ideally in two 2-hour slots, then this is going to be for you. It's for anybody who wants to understand how they've got their clutter and the challenges that they've dealt with on their journey. It's for anyone who's willing to give themselves at least a year. Remember, we're starting slowly in 1st gear. We're gonna build up to 5th gear, but that's going to take time. So let's be realistic. Let's say this time next year, I want to have less clutter. So as long as you're prepared to commit to doing your clutter clearing for at least a year, remember, we're not going to be doing it all the time. 5 weeks on, 2 weeks off, 5 weeks on, so that we can make slow and steady progress as we clear the clutter, break those bad habits, create new positive habits. And finally, it's for anyone who may have felt a little bit daunted by the programs that I've offered in the past. Maybe they were a little bit overwhelming. Maybe you started maybe the Success Club or the 90-day journey, and you were like, oh my goodness, this is actually quite a lot of information. I need time to take it in. Oh no, okay, yeah, feeling overwhelmed. So I think I'll stop rather than continue. So if any of those things apply, then this new 7-step journey program is going to be for you. Okay, I think that's enough from me. In the next video, I'm going to tell you a bit more detail about the 7-step program that's coming. But in the meantime, thanks for watching. Take care.